AITA for being mad at my family faking an emergency. So for some background, my sister, 19F, and I, 21F, are both moved out from parents' home. We both don't live alone, however she lives closer to my parents while I am 3 hours away. To start, this first part happened last week. I was playing games with our friends, not realizing my sister was trying to call me for a while, and of course my family trying to contact my phone for about an hour before my sister gave me a heads up to let family know I am okay via Discord. I was stunned how I missed this many notifications because my phone is loud, and after resolving things with the family and talking to, I saw that my phone was put on Do Not Disturb. I had forgotten to turn it off after a nap. Still, I acknowledged I messed up and worried everyone, and now hyper aware of my notifications. Here's where we get to the AITA. Tonight again I'm playing games with my friends and I get a call from my father asking me if I had talked to my sister lately. We don't talk, so I was like, other than the group chat, no. He then asked if I can call her. I rang her twice with no answers, soon messaging my dad what is going on. He tells me that he got a message from her saying help and now isn't contacting anyone. I freaked the hell out. I dropped all my gaming friends and let my boyfriend know to keep them updated. Then I started messaging several of her close friends if they had contacted her lately. After about 30 minutes of this, my dad calls again and we talked about what we are going to do, as she isn't at work nor at the apartment. Then a pause as I was about to suggest calling police. My father then said she is standing right next to me. What? Yeah, she's standing right here. Doesn't feel good to be left in the dark, right? I was rather pissed and emotional, so I basically sobbed on the phone, thankful she was safe but so utterly mad. I managed to ask why, and their reason was to teach me a lesson from my fuck up and to mess with me. This felt so malicious and hurt me, so I said, I know I screwed up, but mine was on accident, yours was just being an ass. My father then said that no, I was an asshole and I was being too sensitive to the joke, that I deserved it for worrying them last week. He was mad, I was mad at him. So AITA, I felt like the two situations are really different. I accepted I messed up the first situation, but this one I felt I was justified cause it had intent to hurt / scare me. I just feel like I am just overreacting and at a loss. PS, sorry of formatting on mobile. Edit, wow, I didn't expect this to kinda explode like it did. I do plan to update when I get the chance, but I am currently working on sorting my thoughts and figuring out having a phone call with my dad stating my feelings and putting up some much needed boundaries. Some information since been seeing it in the comments. My family is funding this last year of college for me. Due to pandemic I couldn't work at my internship long enough to fund it, so I am at a loan status with my parents to pay after I get a stable workflow, etc. This situation is really out of norm when it comes to me and my father's relationship. We are normally super close, and though he was strict and did get angry easy, within an hour or two of cooling down we make up and relate to each other easily. Weirdest of all, I go to him a lot when I get in fights with my mother. That in of itself could be several Reddit threads alone, and would defend me from her. So honestly, I'm stumped why he would do this. It makes me so uneasy and unable to trust him to have best intentions for me. I know some gotten frustrated when I used the line messed up. I mostly used it at first due to the fact I am not really good at telling if I truly hurt someone or not. I'm not that great with social cues and wasn't sure if I truly done something wrong with my phone being off situation or not. Anyways guys, thank you for all the comments helping me and even the PMS wishing me luck and giving me advice. Trust me, if I can read all of this I would. For now though, I am taking the advice in mind and even plan to use some in my talk with my family. Thank you truly. NTA, your father sounds like he's genuinely kind of a mean and nasty person. Is he usually controlling and weird like this? Sometimes people are assholes without thinking, but he clearly thought the whole thing through and planned it. In terms of your sister, she is an asshole too. Just a bit less than your dad emo because she's still pretty young too, and if your parents are really dysfunctional like your dad, it can be harder for some people to have a clear perspective on what is or isn't acceptable / normal behavior. I mean, to this level, no, my dad never is this cruel. He can be strict, but like after any argument, after a cool down period we make up. This we had an issue, a week passed, cool down, then he brings the situation to slap my face with. It's kinda abnormal honestly. NTA, for the record, you did not mess up the first time you've moved out. If you don't want to talk to them, you don't have to. Now into the story you described. This sounds like manipulation. Your dad doesn't like you out of his reach, so he tried to scare you into it. That's not healthy or good. You're living away from them. You have a right to be independent from them. My family weren't huge fans. I moved in with my boyfriend, and every time I temporarily moved out before for college, they kinda set rules in, like contacting at 1030 each night, keeping in touch. I still called them even during that night I messed up. I just didn't see until at 1030 mark that they had called me earlier / messaged me due to my do not disturb. Just some more info to help out Edek if it's important or not. NTA, there is a difference between not being able to contact someone and being told they left a cryptic help and then not being able to contact them. Not even in the same ballpark. What they did was malicious, and it was less to teach you a lesson and more to hurt you and make them feel better. What utteras the lot of them are. I think the lesson you should take from this is to go no/low contact with your family for a while. NTA, your family freaks out if you don't answer your phone for a few hours. What the fuck? You're a grown-ass adult who is allowed to have a life and ignore your phone whenever you want, and for whatever reason you want. The fact that they did this because for one afternoon you were not immediately available to them without notice is pretty fucking toxic. I think you should let them know that you're going to stop being as available to them. Then do so. Let them know you'll only check your messages and voicemails once or twice a week, when that will be. Then follow through. Set their individual ringtones to silent so you don't get notifications. Or, if absolutely necessary, set them on a schedule and block them at all other times. But damn. They pulled a really insane level of assholery over nothing. AITA, for refusing to be in the delivery room when my wife delivers. I know the title sounds bad, but it is not what it is. I 30 have been married to my wife 29 for 3 years. She got pregnant in January this year and I was overjoyed. But one day she struck with the bombshell that the child wasn't mine. I was shattered. By then she was 6 months into the pregnancy and I did not have the heart to make her go through the legal process of divorce. It seemed that the baby's father ran for it when he heard my wife was pregnant. I did tell her that I would be filing for divorce once she gives birth to baby and made it clear that our relationship wasn't salvageable. She agreed and I told her she'd have to move out once the lease expires in January. She tells me that she is still in love with me and that our relationship could be healed once again. I told her no and she left it at that. We have been sleeping in separate room ever since and I help with her delivery related treatment and visits to the hospital. Now again a few days back she asks me to be with her in the delivery room once she delivers as she wants me to be a support for her. I once again declined and told her that she could ask her mother to be in the room to take care of her and not to ask me to be with her in the delivery room. She went on to tell this to her parents and they have been messaging and calling me trying to change my mind and even went on to call me cruel. AITA, for refusing to be in the delivery room. Edit, after reading your comments, I've decided to consult a lawyer and file for divorce immediately. Also planning on talking to her parents about taking her in and taking care of her stay at hospital. NTA, her parents and your wife are hoping that you bond with this baby even though it's not yours and thus won't divorce her. It's a manipulation tactic. NTA, it's not your child and you don't have to be there. End of really. My cousin spent thousands of pounds and watched his son be born to find out in the end wasn't even his. Glad that didn't happen to you, but still sorry this is happening for you. Be there for yourself and do what's right for you. Take care. NTA, since divorce is on the to-do list, I would say it's appropriate for you to stop going to these appointments as well. If you don't want to be involved with this child or rebuild your marriage, then you have to remove yourself from that situation. Otherwise you may be on the hook for additional support/child support for a child that isn't yours. They will argue that you showed an interest and provided emotional support. Did you get a DNA test done? Or is the assumption the child isn't yours based on your wife cheating? If you have DNA proof the child isn't yours, you should be taking concrete steps to separate yourself from the situation. Since she'll have an additional mouth to feed, I would argue that you should offer to leave the apartment to her. That will give you the opportunity to try and recover and move on in a new space that holds no reminders of her or her betrayal. Yes, I did after she confessed to me, and the child isn't mine. NTA. Please get a lawyer in case you are in a jurisdiction that automatically assumes paternity of a child born within a marriage, so that you can ensure you are not fighting an uphill battle to not be legally responsible for a child that is not yours. Even if you don't change the living situation, make sure you are protected. Sure, thanks for your advice! Exclamation mark. AITA for embarrassing my friend's BF in front of everyone. This happened a while ago, but let me see what the judgment would be. My friend had been dating this guy for a couple of months now. She wanted to introduce him to our friend's circle, and we arranged a dinner/party at my place. He seemed a little pretentious but overall nice. Few drinks in and things started to get weird. We work in similar fields and I think he got a little competitive. Everyone were either talking or dancing, but he kept wanting to talk shop. We were having a discussion about application security and we had different views. It would have been a fun discussion, except he kept interrupting me every time I tried to say something. I tried to quote a journal to support my point and said, "Did you read the paper about XYZ? I actually WR." He started explaining me about how he read that paper and that author's findings actually supported his argument, not mine. I just asked, "Oh really? Can you elaborate?" He spoke for the next 15 minutes about how I misunderstood what the author wrote and went on and on. In the end, I told him that wasn't what the author said. He told me that I couldn't possibly know that. I told him that I knew that because I wrote that goddamn paper. I could literally see him deflating. He was in a sour mood for the rest of his stay. The next day, my friend called to tell me that I didn't have to embarrass him on purpose like that. I don't think I did anything wrong. Most of my friends are on my side, but a couple of them have told me that it was mean. AITA? Natar, I actually think you did him a favor. Maybe being embarrassed by his own hubris will prevent him from making his ass out of himself in the future. NTA, you did not embarrass him, he embarrassed himself. And it wasn't really any more embarrassing than his behavior already was. This just meant he noticed, so he feels embarrassed, but he already had engaged in embarrassing behavior. Agreed. His severe case of erectile dysfunction was his downfall, not up. This kind of fits/r/dontianoyam. And NTA, he played himself. NTA, let me guess, you're a woman? You put that mansplainer in his place. He wouldn't be embarrassed if he let you get a word in earlier. In the end, I told him that wasn't what the author said. He told me that I couldn't possibly know that. As an author with a specialty in a specific male-dominated field, this happens a lot. Because little old female me couldn't possibly have big ideas or know certain aspects. And I'm willing to bet Op is a younger female, which makes it exponentially worse. Thankfully, when I hit my 40s, people took me a bit more seriously. But dear heavens above, it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make it this far. NTA, Op, he embarrassed himself. You didn't do anything except tell him the truth.